Well, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, Firefighter Adventure 17. Good to see you all again. It's Matt, that firefighter paramedic guy. I am that guy. I am that guy that one person wasn't very happy with, I guess. We'll get into that in a second. Well, how did y'all do yesterday with your football teams? Did they make you happy? They let you down? I will say this, the Minnesota Vikings surprised the hell out of me. I did not see that coming at all. I mean, especially after that Chargers debacle on Thursday Night Football. Man, it looked like things were not looking good, and that was amazing. That was an outstanding performance, so congratulations to them. We'll see what happens from here. You know, I mean, it's only one game, but, man, something like that has to give you some kind of a boost. And, again, I love listening to the games. I was out doing yard work yesterday afternoon. It's so much fun listening to Paul Allen go wild every time the Vikings get rolling, and even Pete Bursich, he gets in on it too. And there was a bad call late in the game. It was a push off on a Lions receiver, pushed off on one of the Vikings defenders. Man, him and Paul Allen just ripped the referees to pieces. And I saw the play later on. That was a terrible no call. I mean, that was definitely a home field advantage call there at Ford Field for sure. But the Vikings brushed that off and they ended up winning the game, so that was fantastic. Oh, and real quick before we get started as well, today, representing the longest yard. Did y'all watch that movie? It's one of the greatest ever. I'm referring to the Adam Sandler version. I have Bill Goldberg's jersey on. He went by the character Battle in the movie, and he has the X on his jersey, which I've got his jersey on today. Just having some fun today. You know, it's great walking around the theme parks here with this jersey on. People love it. It's not something you see every day, that's for sure. Welcome back to part number 2 of Disney live streamers behaving badly, and this is not going to be any fancy clips, nothing like the video beforehand. This is just going to be you and me, and we're going to have a nice little chat with each other. I might show you some photos of things, but we're going to have a discussion. We're going to follow up with that first video, and we're just going to talk about some things. Hope you find this interesting, because I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the Disney live streamers behaving badly topic is picking up steam on the YouTubes, and it's really taken off. It's not just me talking about it. Everybody's bringing it up now. So it's really catching some traction. And you might have noticed my first video I uploaded is gone. It has been memory hold for all you fans of the book 1984 by George Orwell. I think there was a movie made about it too. If you've never seen it or heard of it, memory holding was used in the book and the movie as a reference to in the dystopian times that it represented of basically 1984, they envisioned the future at that time that there was this guy named Big Brother that was overseeing everything and had everybody brainwashed, and it was only follow, you know, what he says, and everything else is wrong, and they would literally rewrite history and everything, and all of the stuff that had happened that, you know, might give people a reason to start thinking about, hey, maybe what's going on right now isn't right. They would take all of the old history and they would burn it in this giant furnace. They'd throw it down a hole into this big furnace. They called it the memory hole. And then all of the old evidence of old history and that was eliminated, and it was just about what's in the here and the now. If you've never read the book or watched the movie, it's pretty interesting, but it's also scary because some of the things they reference, you know, we've been through, you know, and 2020 was a perfect example of that, and also even in current times. So basically, YouTube memory hold my video because somebody didn't like it. Somebody got their little feelings hurt, and instead of looking at it as, hey, this is constructive criticism, and maybe you should consider cleaning your act up a little bit and straighten yourself up in the park and not disrupt the guests around you, this person took offense to it and filed a copyright strike against my channel. I've never, ever received a copyright strike. I've had several copyright claims, which is when I bring you all the football games like the Citrus Bowl, and last year when I went to see the Purdue Boilermakers suck ass against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, when I show you all the concerts that I go to, you know, all of those get copyright claims, which all that means is that whatever money, if the video makes any money, that means you'll split about 30 or 40% of it with the owner of the content. That's all. You're just splitting the revenue. Doesn't hurt your channel. No big worries, no nothing. Copyright strikes, however, a little different story. You're only allowed to get 3 of these in a 90-day period, because I was reading about this. I had to educate myself on it. I had no idea what to do. And so you only get 3 of them. And if you do get a third one or more within 90 days, YouTube can basically just say, you know what? Sorry about you. Your channel, gone. Memory hold. And you could lose your channel and everything. You know, for me, again, a upcoming channel with, we got almost 2,000 subscribers, and thank you all very much to everybody that subscribes and watches. And, if you've seen us for the first time and you like what you see and you want to go on some adventures with me and have a little bit of fun and kind of push the envelope a little bit with certain things, hit the subscribe button. I promise I won't disappoint you. But for a newer channel like mine with not that many subscribers, and I shouldn't say not that many, because it's no easy task to get over 1,000. Less than 6% of all YouTube channels have 1,000 or more subscribers, which that's a very small part of the entire YouTube's, which is millions upon millions of channels. And so it's a big feat to get 1,000. However, this for me is not my sole source of income. This is just for fun. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this so I can entertain you all. You might have heard me before say that as long as this is fun and challenging, I will continue to do it. But when it stops being fun and challenging, I'm done with it. I'm always going to be working my other careers. I've been a firefighter medic for this year coming up. It's going to be year 18. I also work at the theme parks as a paramedic, so I have my other careers. It's not that big a deal if this channel were to go away. This is just extra. Now, somebody that's relying on this as their sole source of income, that could be a problem. You lose your channel, that's your whole livelihood. So if you haven't seen the video yet, let me hop in the DeLorean and let's rewind time a little bit here. We'll go back a few days. I uploaded a video, and it was called Walt Disney World Live Streamers Behaving Badly, and it was called Part 1. And what I did was I sat down and I highlighted some clips that I found of various live streamers that, let's just put it this way, they haven't been acting the greatest in the parks, That's the reason I did this, because you can see the tensions building up online in various forums and, various other discussions. People are talking about this, these live streamers and granted, there's not that many of them that are doing this, but sadly, they're making it a horrible name for everybody, because that's also what we're going to talk about near the end, is that not all these live streamers are bad. A lot of them are really good, and they're good at what they do. But these bad apples are really making it tough on all of them. And the reason I did this video is because I wanted to bring some awareness to some of the individuals that I featured. And maybe sometimes when you see yourself and you see yourself not acting in the greatest of ways, it might give you pause to think and go, oh, yeah, that's probably not good. Let me straighten my act up a little bit. Let's not do that. Let's not disrupt all of the guests around me. And as I closed out that video with, is I'm telling y'all, those of you that are out there acting a fool in the parks on live stream and that, even vloggers, the vloggers are not exempt from this. But those of you out there acting a fool, you keep pushing the envelope and keep pissing the guests off, and enough guests start complaining to Disney World, you're going to lose the ability to live stream in the parks. Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea has done it already. Like I mentioned in that video, they just had enough. They're like, no more, done. I think the only way you can live stream at Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea is you have to be on a special list. Like there's only a few that are on this list. It's chosen by Disney, and it's very, very, very tightly regulated. But instead of people listening to the warnings out there, they just kept on keeping on, and they finally said, nope, you're done. I think you can vlog out there. I've seen people vlogging out there, but live streaming, from what I've understood, is completely off. You can't do it. If they catch you doing it, you be in some serious trouble. So I uploaded a video featuring some of these individuals and talking about, some bad behavior, if you will. The comments were pretty much down the middle. Some were thinking that I was out of my mind and that I'm slandering and libeling these poor people, and I better watch it because I'm going to get sued for slander and libel, which I know there was no slander and libeling. Like, people need to look up what slander and libeling is. Like, I did not speak bad on these people. I didn't go out there and say, hey, this is so-and-so from here. They're a piece of shit. I didn't say anything like that. I just highlighted a couple channels, didn't even give the names of these people. I just, I kept all of that out of there. If you could watch the video, all you see is the individual doing things that, what in my opinion, are very disruptive to the guests. And the one guy that I featured, he's even been shown on TikTok. People have highlighted him on TikTok, and people have put a caption on the video saying, hey, help me identify this guy, because he's super obnoxious. And so I'm not the only one out there. A lot of people are watching these guys and gals, and they're watching them under a microscope. And I don't think they realize it, how much people are actually watching this and keeping an eye on these people so they don't disrupt the guests. And that was the other thing I wanted to do too. I wanted to keep just the video, and everything is discreet as much as it can be. Nowhere does it say these individuals' names. Nowhere does it talk about anything about them. It just is, it's their own videos from live stream. And all I did was screen record it. That's all I did. I didn't doctor the videos. I didn't do anything. It is their footage, which kind of think of it as I was doing a little bit of the work like the one creator over there on TikTok does. What is it called? Libs of TikTok, where that creator basically downloads ridiculous behavior and then re-uploads it and says, hey, everybody, look at this. This is pretty outlandish. And then they go after this creator of Libs of TikTok going, that's harmful content. How can you do that? You're harming people. And the creator's like, what are you talking about? That's their content. They uploaded this. I'm just showcasing it. What's harmful about it? So sadly, when people see themselves in certain ways and people call them out on it, they don't like it. And the saying does go, when people are calling for your, whatever it is that you put out there, or your ideas or whatever it is, when they're calling for that stuff to be removed, they've lost the argument. Because think about this. When at any point in history, and think back even shortly, a couple years ago to 2020, the people that were doing all the silencing, remember, we weren't allowed to talk about ivermectin, which now that's shown to have great properties against viral illness. We weren't allowed to talk about hydroxychloroquine. That has had some really good studies done on it, and it's been shown it can help people with the C19 thing. Just like ivermectin, we've learned about vitamin D. We've learned about all this stuff that it turns out that it actually does help people. Now, it's not a silver bullet. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but it can help, and it has shown signs of. And studies now have shown signs of, hey, this is pretty good here. But what happened when we could have used it? Oh, the doctors were being silenced. They were being fired. They were having their medical licenses taken away. And just like the pointy thing that people had put in their arm, you weren't allowed to ask questions about that. If you asked questions about that, you were fired. You were disciplined. Once again, doctors lost their licenses. Patients, even people that were having serious problems, serious reactions, were taking to the internet going, hey, I'm having some problems here. Can somebody help me identify this? Because I was fine the other day, and now I just got my first or second one of those things, and I feel terrible, like something's wrong, and they were being erased from the internet. So once again, I pose the question, when has the party that has done the suppressing and the erasing, when have they ever been on the right side of history? Yeah, you're right. Never. When people call for other people's, ideas, videos, whatever it might be, when people call for that to be erased, they've lost the argument. They're scared to death. They don't want people to see, whatever it is that's out there. Because my theory is if it's not that big a deal, then why do you want it removed? And so I'm going to go over this, talk about this copyright thing. I think it's kind of interesting, actually. Pour yourself some coffee, grab yourself a Red Bull, whatever. Just sit down, relax, and just kind of go along this journey with me. Because it's going to be kind of a nice little just sit down and chit-chat type of day. It's a beautiful day today. I got a video I'm working on, too. I was at Magic Kingdom this morning. All the Christmas decorations are up, so stand by for that one. That's going to be a good one. So this right here, this is the email that I got because, every day in the morning when I get up, I check the YouTube Studio Creator because I want to see how the channel's doing, if I got any new comments, see how my videos are doing. Plus, you can also check your monetization and all that. And I was going through and I'm like, something looks different. On the potential earnings side, there was a huge decrease. And for me, huge is like $100 and some bucks. Like I'm not making tens of thousands of dollars here. Like basically a lot had dropped off. And I'm like, what happened? And I was going through the videos and I saw the one where it said Walt Disney World live streamers behaving badly or bad behavior. And so I looked at it and then I saw the monetization symbol, which is the $sign. It was crossed out. It had the big red circle around it with the slash through it. And then a little farther over, it says video has been removed. And then it had a copyright strike attached to it. I'm like, what? So I go to my email and I open my email and lo and behold, this is what I find right here. It shows you the name of the video in question. And then from YouTube, it says, "Hi, Fire Medic Adventure 17. We received a copyright removal request for your video. Based on applicable copyright law, we removed your video from YouTube." And then it gives you the title, the URL, whoever removed it, the request by, and then the contact info. I blocked out this individual's information because as irritated as I am that this person did this, I don't believe in doxing people either. Like I don't want anybody running this person down and going after them or whatnot. My theory is people always get what comes around to them. You go and do something like that, have somebody's video removed because your feelings got hurt or whatever, and you cause a disruption in a person's channel or whatever happens to it. Basically, if there was really no reason to do it other than you were just being, your rear end was in a painful state, it'll come around again. People always get something. People always will catch it on the go around. I'm a big believer in karma, man. And somebody could say that about me too. They could have said that about my video. Maybe they didn't like it. Like, oh, wait till you get yours. Who knows? The rest of it says, "This means that your video can no longer be viewed on YouTube. And for more information about this, you can email YouTube." And then below that, it says, "You have received a copyright strike. You now have one copyright strike. If you get multiple copyright strikes, we'll have to terminate your channel. To prevent that from happening, please don't upload videos containing copyrighted content that you aren't allowed to use." There's a sticky point right there, okay? And I'm going to talk about this for a minute because then I'm going to go into the next, how this even starts and then what I can do on my end. The whole thing about not using copywritten material that I'm not allowed to use, well, this individual was at Disney World live streaming, right? He's using Disney's property, right? He's making money off of Disney. All I did was take his material, copy it, and then re-release it, undoctored. Does he own that? Because he filmed it? It's not like he was at home filming himself like I'm doing. I clipped that for whatever reason because I saw something and then I replayed it. This is a live stream at Disney World. He already is using copywritten material. I mean, in a sense, that's always been a big discussion about the live streamers, even vloggers, even what I do out there. We're using Disney and we're technically using their likeness to try to make a little money. Now for Disney, it's free advertising, but they could easily shut that down at any time. They could be like, "No, you're using copywritten material," and more so the live streamers, because technically you're broadcasting in the park, which if you read the fine print on your ticket or your annual pass, it talks about that being prohibited behavior out there. So Disney doesn't have to allow people to live stream out there at all, or they don't have to allow people to vlog out there at all. But like a couple people have mentioned on some of their channels who have uploaded other versions of Disney live streamers behaving badly, trying to police that would be very, very difficult. It would be next to impossible. But if you want it gone, they'd figure out a way. So moving forward, these are the requirements right here for issuing a strike on somebody. This is what you have to do. The first step that has to be done, a formal request has to be made. Basically, a copyright removal request is a formal legal process that requires the owner or their agent to submit a request. And then it goes into legal statements. The request must include legal statements declaring that the use of the material is not authorized by the copyright owner and is accurate under penalty of perjury. Then you have to sign it off. There's signature requirements, and then there's the good faith requirement. And then the user submitting the claim must have a good faith belief that the content is infringing. Falsely filing a claim can be considered an abuse of the system. We're going to go back to that one in a minute. And then it says right here where it says what happens if a claim is made for no reason. There's a counter notification. The recipient of the strike can file a counter notification to dispute the claim, stating why the strike is unwarranted. There's a dispute process. If the counterclaim is accepted, it is sent to the claimant, who then has 10 days to either drop it or file a lawsuit to reinstate the strike. If they do neither, the strike is removed. And then there's the potential consequences. If a user abuses the system by filing fraudulent claims, they could face consequences for circumvention and other terms of service violations. A lot of people have pointed out that this kind of falls under the fair use category, which, is a broad term, doesn't always hold up in a court of law or anything. But when you use other people's clips for your own channel to show things off or whatever, technically it falls under fair use. And fair use is like a big blanket that kind of covers the legalities of things. But it also doesn't cover everything, and it's not a guarantee that you won't get copyright struck either. So even though what I've learned is some people will put the fair use disclaimer before showing somebody else's video, that doesn't always work, but it does help from what I understand. Good faith thing is, filing a wrongful request, basically saying that somebody hurt your feelings because of what they said. That could be considered abuse of the system. Maybe I just sit down one day and just start watching all the live streamers out there or all the Disney vloggers and I start filing off about 1,500 different copyright strikes on people. That would be abusing the system. And I just say, well, they hurt my feelings. I didn't like what they said. Sir, that's not going to work. I would love to know what the reasoning is, because again, it's hard for me to understand that, yes, while that is this individual's video, that's his live stream, but is it really his live stream? Because he's filming Disney. That's Disney's property. Yeah, I'd be curious to see where this would go, but let's move forward. This is what I have the option to do if I would choose to. So what to do next? You submit a counter notification. You go to the content section in YouTube Studios, find the video, and you'll see an option to submit a counter notification. Then you provide required information. You will need to provide your personal information, sign the counter notification legally, and explain why you believe the content was removed in error. Example given, it's fair use or you have permission. Wait for a response. Basically, the claimant has 10 business days to respond to your request by providing evidence of legal action to keep the content from being reinstated. If the claimant doesn't respond, basically what happens, if they don't respond with evidence of legal action within 10 business days, YouTube will reinstate your video and remove the copyright strike from your channel. If the claimant does respond, then they would have to provide evidence of legal action. YouTube will keep the content off the platform while a legal process is underway. YouTube's role is to process the legal notice, the dispute, and then it would be between you and the claimant. Basically, what would happen is if I wanted to put my video back up there and reinstate it, I would file a counterclaim against this individual, and basically the only way to keep it off of YouTube would be he would have 10 business days to basically 2 weeks to respond. And basically what this individual would have to do is say, yes, I'm pursuing legal action against you because of your video on me. And then it would stay off YouTube, which you start entering into legal disputes like that, meaning you get lawyers involved. Once that happens, Matt from Fire Medic Adventure 17, I would get discovery on this individual. I would get to know everything about this person. And that right there is why a lot of people don't go further with this, because a lot of times when somebody else gets discovery, they're like, oh, crap. I don't want them knowing that about me. Long story short is this person would have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that my video here that I uploaded of Disney live streamers' bad behavior basically damaged this person or caused irreparable harm to their ego or their emotions or whatever. That would be pretty tough to do, I would imagine. Basically, I'm going to not do anything. After 90 days, this thing goes away, and that's it. I have the video on my hard drive. I could re-upload it at any time. You know, it's not like I couldn't just keep posting this thing, but it did what I wanted it to do. You know, the video got some traction. It caused a lot of really good conversation. A lot of people, you know, there was, like I said, it was kind of split evenly down the middle. You know, half the people said, yeah, Matt, I get where you're coming from. These people are seriously annoying, and does Disney need to do something to stop it? Some of them said, yes, I wish Disney would end live streaming. And then the other half was people standing up for the live streamers, you know. And when I say live streamers, I don't mean everybody. So that's the other thing, too. I've gotten some messages from other live streamers, and I hear you all. I get what you're saying. And that's why this is a tough topic sometimes to talk about, because there are a lot of you out there that are really good at what you do. Everybody has their own unique style. And like I said in the first video, I don't have an issue with people live streaming. Hell, I'd love to give it a try. You know, I've talked about giving it a try. I would do mine a lot differently, but it would be fun to try it. I just want some of these people that are really, really setting a bad example for everybody, I just want them to take a look real quick at themselves in the mirror and be like, I'm just asking some of these live streamers to maybe tighten their shit up a little bit and stop acting a fool in the parks. You know, just like this one individual again this morning. I feel bad for the Disney cast members, because what happens is people forget to make reservations or whatever. Or sometimes you can make a reservation if you're an annual pass holder on the My Disney Experience app, but sometimes the app can drop the reservation. I've had it happen to me. Sometimes you you scan into the park and you get I've talked about it before, the blue light of death. That means no entry for you. There's a problem. Usually what it is the system dropped the reservation or whatever. And the cast member, you know, you can hear it over the live feed, and the cast member says, hey, can you just step out of line and just make a reservation real quick? And this person's like, no, I can't do that. Get somebody to help me. Yeah, they didn't say it like that, but it was, now you got to get a freaking cast member over there to make a reservation for somebody when they could very easily do it. But as I've said before, you know, the live stream has to prevail above everything. We can't just stop the live stream for a minute, or even better yet, a lot of them have the ability where I think you can put up a like a pause screen, and you can get into the My Disney Experience app. Other live streamers do it a lot. I see it happen a lot because people's reservations being dropped, it's nothing new. It happens a lot. And I've seen it happen to other live streamers, and all they do is they take a quick step back. They somehow or other, they pause the live stream, or they put up a be right back screen, and they make their reservation real quick, and then they go into the park, no problem. But this guy, for whatever reason, doesn't want to interrupt his valuable live stream there. And so then he has to have them bring a cast member over, and then it's basically taking up time, although it doesn't take a lot, but it's obnoxious because it's totally unnecessary. You know, it's just, all you got to do is just make a reservation real quick. It's okay. But once again, it was like I don't want to do it. Get somebody here to do it for me. And then there was another situation that happened a couple nights ago where an attraction at Magic Kingdom broke down, and the people were live streaming, and they left the live stream on, going through all of the secret areas of the attraction, of the back lots at Magic Kingdom, stuff that is completely off limits. And that's, again, another thing, like, folks, if you're live streaming, that's fine, but put it on Be Right Back, or put something up. Don't show that, because I'm telling you, Disney, I'm almost certain, watches some of this stuff. They don't want that backlot stuff being filmed. They don't want that filmed whatsoever. It wrecks the magic. It gives away the secrets. They don't want it. So like I'm telling you folks, all I'm asking is just straighten up a little bit. Just tighten things up. Stop doing stupid stuff. That's all. If you stop doing stupid stuff and, stop bringing unnecessary attention to yourselves, it's going to be fine. Live streaming is going to go on for a very long time, likely. This stuff keeps happening and problems keep coming up. Folks, I'm telling you, they're going to get rid of it, or they're going to put some serious boundaries on it, meaning only a select few are going to be able to do it. And then a lot of people that are trying to make a living doing this are going to be completely out of luck. And the thing is when they were still live streaming, that you could tell there was constant requests, please stop filming, film the entire time, so everybody that was watching got to see everything on the in the backside of the attractions, all the tool benches, all the ride vehicles up on the lifts. Like, you can't show that. And the reason I know you can't show that is because 2 years ago, well, it's been almost 2 years ago, I took the Keys to the Kingdom tour. In fact, if you want to watch that, I have a vlog on it. One of the neatest things I've ever done, being a big fan of Disney World and Magic Kingdom and a big fan of the history of the park and all the attractions and everything. That's a spectacular tour. But the one thing that they said repeatedly is you can take pictures while we're on stage, meaning on Main Street. But the minute we go back a house, backstage as they call it, the minute we go backstage, phones have got to be put away and in your pockets. If they even so much as catch you, even looking like you might take a picture of something, tour's over, you're out, done. No questions asked. They take that very seriously, and for good reason, because they don't want the magic ruined. What do we hear all the time? People go to Disney World and the parks to escape the BS of everyday life. Well, what good is that if all the secrets are given away by somebody live streaming and everybody sees how this ride works? Oh, Magic's wrecked. I got to see how that works. That's no fun anymore. That's why they don't want people filming. It's just like with this individual that copyright struck my channel. It's all good, man. We're going to bounce back. I'll be just fine. And sometimes I wish we could just sit down and have a discussion, kind of like what I did with my video. And so then it becomes, why did you want that? Are you ashamed of what you saw? Because like I said, I didn't doctor anything. That was as raw as it gets. That was as everybody else saw it, And I'm sorry, but you cannot be in a tightly packed queue. You can't be screaming your head off, you can't do that. Like, that disrupts everybody around you. Now, do other guests do it that aren't live streaming? Yes, they do. But the difference is people don't see that. All eyes are on you, and when you got that camera rolling, or your phone, whatever you're using to live stream, the whole world sees you. The whole world sees your behavior. And it's just like the fire chief gave me the speech when I first started as a career firefighter. He said, Matt, you got to walk the straight and narrow when you're doing this job. He goes, if you think you're going to go out to one of the bars and get overserved, he goes, guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to be talking about Matt the fireman that stumbled drunk out of the bar. They ain't going to care about somebody that works at a factory or whatever stumbling out of a bar drunk. That doesn't matter. But Matt, this firefighter for our community, stumbling out of a bar drunk, you're going to be on every tabloid around because you're in the public's eye. You have to set the example for yourself. You got to set the example for the city. You start acting a fool, and everybody's going to look at you going, oh, that guy's an idiot. Well, I guess that shows what everybody else is like, and it brings a bad name on the entire fire department. Just like with this live streaming thing. A couple people acting a fool in the parks, it's bringing a bad name to everybody. And a couple people have reached out to me through Instagram and email and have offered to have a sit down. Kind of like, like a little broadcast where we all get on a live stream and chit chat about things. And I told them, I said, I'd be happy to sit down and chat about all this. Because basically I just want to have a conversation. I just want people to clean their act up. And stop giving a bad name to all the live streamers. Because as I've mentioned before, there's a lot of good ones out there. There's some that I've watched for a very long time. And they do a good job. Plus, live streaming does have its benefits. It absolutely has its benefits. There might be people that will never get to Walt Disney World for whatever reason. Maybe they live too far away. Maybe they've got certain health issues that just are a big boundary to them, and they can't get out here. So that's a way we can bring the theme parks, the resorts, everything Walt Disney World into their lives, and they can watch this on a daily basis. Or maybe somebody's sick or they've had surgery and they're healing and they can't get to the parks for a while. We can bring Disney World to them. We can bring the parks to them. And through live streaming, it makes it feel like you're actually there. That is a really good side of things. Or maybe, like sometimes what I will do is I'll put somebody's live stream on in the background for background noise, and I'll look in on it from time to time, but it's nice to have in the background while you're doing other work around the house or whatever it is you might be doing. A lot of people do that. Ninja watching, I think they call that. Where you're not interacting with it entirely, but it's on and you're kind of looking in on it from time to time. That's wonderful for that. And so when I talk about this, I don't want you all to think that I'm going after everybody's live streaming channel or all the live stream creators, because I'm not. I was just trying to highlight a couple of really bad apples at the moment. And like I said before, I'm sure maybe outside of live streaming, I'm sure they're probably all very nice people. I'm sure we could sit down without any issue and have a cup of coffee together, maybe go share a beer and chit chat. But when you're on live stream and you're acting like that, it kind of causes people to form an opinion. They're like, holy cow, what is this? Like the guy with the young ladies in that. That's totally unacceptable. You shouldn't be able to do that. That's totally against Disney policy. It's against everything that Disney sets forth. I want to call attention to that because people are paying attention. People are watching, like Monsters, Inc., always watching. The other thing, too, is if this one individual didn't like what I said, or didn't like me showcasing a couple clips of this person, try going on to some of these Disney threads that are out there. You want to go down a rabbit hole, just type in some of these live streamers' channel names and just put the word annoying after it or obnoxious, and look what comes up. There's entire chat threads on some of these people. Even Resort TV 1. You type in Resort TV 1 and obnoxious or annoying, even though they've had a very successful live streaming channel for 10 years now. Even they're not exempt from the criticism because, as I've mentioned before, Josh, when he gets criticized by somebody in the parks, even if it's constructive criticism, it sends him off the rails. Like he just goes completely sideways. And he'll talk about it the rest of the night. So if they're 10 minutes into the live stream and somebody says something to him that he doesn't like, he'll be wrecked the rest of the night. He won't be able to stop talking about it. And so nobody's exempt from it. I'm sure maybe there's threads on myself out there. This freaking firefighter medic guy. Who's this asshole? But like I've mentioned before, if you're going to put yourself out on the YouTube, whether you live stream or you're going to be out here vlogging like this or podcasting, you've got to be willing to not only take the praise, but you got to be willing to take the criticism. And not everybody's going to agree with what you do. And that's my other point, too, that I've tried making before, is these people try to paint this picture that everything is 100% perfect, nothing should ever go wrong, nobody should ever say anything bad about you, nobody should ever have a negative opinion about you. I mean, it's a complete falsehood. That stuff doesn't exist. Maybe we go to Disney, maybe we go to theme parks, we want to get away from all that, but even still, even in the theme parks, there's people that are out there that are just going to try to wreck your day sometimes. There's guests that are just assholes, and they may say things to you or they may do things to you. Who cares? There's a saying that goes, a person will never say or do anything to anybody that isn't a direct result of how they're feeling at that moment. And so if somebody acts out at you or they yell at you because maybe you're carrying a camera or whatever, they're probably pissed off for whatever reason, and you're the one that's right there, and you're going to take the full brunt of that. And if it wasn't you standing there, it was going to be somebody else, but you're the one that took the hit. So what? Brush it off. Move on. This world's full of assholes, but it's also full of good, but it's also full of really, really good people as well. Don't let people get to you all. Just like with my videos that was taken down. I just wanted to bring some awareness to all this. I even in the comments, I had some people in there, that were just, you can tell when people have no argument and they go right for the insults and everything. Those of you that are younger, that are, wanting to do YouTube, or even those of you that might be older that want to start a YouTube channel, always remember this. If you upload a video and people start attacking you, and the only thing they have to do, and the only thing they have is to hurl insults at you, or just, talk about suing you or whatever it is, they don't have an argument. When people lose the argument, they go straight for the insults. They go straight for I'm going to sue you. They don't. They're done. They've lost at that point. Instead of just admitting defeat and walking away, they start hurling insults, because that's all they have left. Somebody out there said that somebody's going to try to sue me for slander and libel. Well, I didn't slander anybody. When you they need to look up what those words mean. Slander is when you speak badly about somebody. All I did was repost their video. I didn't say anything. I just said, hey, you might want to look at this. This isn't good. And then somebody else called me a troll, or a happy little troll. And I thought, no, trolls got long hair. I'm more of a bald guy. And when you're trolling people, you're basically putting things out there that have no bearing on anything. You're just being obnoxious. And I actually had a point of what I was doing, so I don't meet the definition for troll. So sorry about that, my friend. You missed the mark. It's all good, though. Let's have a beer sometime. Let's sit down and have a beer. How about that? Have a conversation like two men. That I'd be up for. So that's everything, folks. That's why my video is gone. Somebody got a serious pain in their backside there, and decided they wanted my video removed. That's like, real quick, Don Shipley, his YouTube channel name is Former Buds 131. He actually had his YouTube channel deleted completely, because they called his content harmful. And what was he doing? Calling out fake Navy SEALs. Yeah, I can tell you one thing. If I went through Bud's training and I became a U.S. Navy SEAL, and I went through that hell of what that training is, and I achieved that, and I went and served my country as a Navy SEAL, you can be sure I'd be going after the fakes. And so that's what he does. He goes after the fakes. And so what he did is he had to rebuild his YouTube channel. And so people, same thing, they try to sue him all the time, or they try to complain to YouTube all the time because he's slandering and libeling them. And he's even said to these people, he goes, how am I slandering and libeling you? You were never a SEAL. I checked your name against the SEAL database. You were never a SEAL. And of course they respond to, oh, it's classified. And he goes, horse shit. There's no such thing. He goes, y'all been watching too many Men in Black, Jason Bourne movies. He goes, there's classified missions, but he goes, there's no classified individuals. He goes, that's not a thing. But they all claim that. Every one of them does. Everybody that's that when you corner them, that's the thing they go after, is that it's all been classified. Records are, he goes, you've just been erased. Yeah, he goes, that's not a thing. so even he's had it happen. So yeah, all I was trying to do is just bring some awareness to this. I said it a lot of times in that other video. I'm not attacking these people, nor am I making fun of them. I'm just trying to bring some awareness so that they clean their act up, and as we would say in the fire service, tighten their shit up a little bit and stop acting a fool, and then live streaming will be just fine. Everybody's going to have a chance to do it, and nothing will happen. But I can promise you, if this keeps up and more and more people keep on complaining, meaning the guests that are spending a lot of money to be there on vacation, Disney's going to do something about it, and then by then it's going to be too late. And then all we do is sit back and go, I told you so. You had your chance, but you chose to delete videos instead of actually doing something about it. Also, real quick, Jared from the YouTube channel Capture the Magic, thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate it. I sent you a message back on Instagram. If you all haven't found his channel yet, go check him out. He's got a really good channel. He does it in like a podcast form. He's got a lot of good info on it, and he recently did a video as well on Disney live streamers' bad behavior. So go check his video out too. Hopefully his hasn't been removed. But also too, I have a question real quick. Anybody that's been doing YouTube a while, how is it that all these other creators out there do these clips? They comment on video clips that they download. How is it that nobody else gets copyright struck like that? Did I just happen to find the one that got his rear end awful sore over this and he filed the copyright strike? Like, did I just happen to stumble on that one person? Because I see these videos all the time. A lot of YouTube channels are built on talking about other clips of other people. So do you have to put fair use out there? Does that matter? Like, how do you prevent this? Because this live streamer's behaving badly thing, I'm going to do another one. I promise you, I'll do another one. But I'm trying to also protect myself from people that just get their feelings hurt and end up filing a copyright strike. So if you have any advice for me, I greatly appreciate it. Because like I said, there's tons of videos out there with people commenting on clips. There's one that's a guy's got a YouTube channel, and he basically critiques Adam the Woo's video. It's like he's built a huge channel over it too, but nothing happens. Like, so how do these people do it? Like, the one time I do a clip on somebody like that, I get copyright struck. We've been struck. The other thing that I guess I could do is I could post it on my channel. If you don't like what I say, I'll put this form up here. You can fill it out and send it back to me. This is a hurt feelings report. These are made famous, I believe, in the Army. We had a whole bunch of them at the firehouse. We used to fill out all the time and hand it to the chief. And he'd be like, damn it, quit wasting my time with this shit. But if you'll notice, it's got all these things in there. It says, whiner, understanding, and support service. Oh, yeah, it says whiner's name, last, first, middle initial, your position, date of report, your organization, name and title of the person filling out this form, date, feelings were hurt. That would have been yesterday. Time of hurtfulness, roughly 8:02 a.m. Location of hurtful incident, I was in the bedroom. Person sympathetic to whiner. I didn't have anybody that was sympathetic to me at the moment. And then it says, which ear were the words of hurtfulness spoken into, left, right, or both? Well, my eyes absorbed it. So nothing really was spoken into my ears, but my eyes took a beating. Is there permanent feeling damage? I'll be all right, but it'd be a maybe. And then, did you require tissue for tears? Oh, man, multiple. Has this resulted in a traumatic brain injury? Nah, it wasn't that bad. And then here's the reason for filing this report. You can mark all that apply. Thin-skinned, I'm a wimp, I have women-like hormones, I'm a crybaby. Somebody needs to fix my problems. My feelings are easily hurt. You wouldn't understand. I was told that I am not special. Oh, that's a good one. 2 beers is not enough. The weather is too cold. The weather is too hot. Weather's too dry. Weather's too rainy. All the above and more. So I'll put those out there. If you don't like what I say, you can fill out one of those hurt feelings report. You send it to me. We'll take it under advisement, see maybe what we can do to help you all out. The you are not special thing, real quick before I wrap this up, that was said during the Fire Academy, during the speech before we got our rear ends handed to us and we embarked on the several weeks of the Fire Academy. The training officer was in there and he said, just so you all know, real quick, your parents, they all lied to you. You are not special. 2 arms, 2 legs. That's it. And he says, you are not a firefighter. He goes, I and your crew will tell you when you are a firefighter. Like, it was just straight up, similar. It's very paramilitary. They strip you down, they tear you down to the lowest level, and then they build you up in their own image. Fire Academy was one of the neatest things I've ever done. But I don't ever want to repeat that. Like, it was a lot of days in and out of just not punishment, but just you would get beat. And when we say beat, meaning lots of push-ups, lots of evolutions. They're getting you ready for a very demanding profession, and they're trying to make it so you have the intestinal fortitude to withstand what the rigors that the career is going to bring you. Because if you can't, man, you ain't going to make it. Like I said earlier, that being in the fire and EMS service for all these years, it makes you very thick-skinned. You have to be. And speaking of not being thin-skinned, we had a trainee in my Fire Academy recruit class, and this individual made a horrible mistake, like horrible, not paying attention to detail, as they would say. And for the entire rest of the day, and this was like at 11 a.m., and training ended somewhere between 4:30 and 5. So from 11 a.m. all the way to almost 5 p.m., everything this individual did, he had to do it with a sign around his neck saying, I killed my entire crew because I was stupid. Yeah, but it drives the point home. would rather correct that behavior now than wait till this individual goes into a hot moment like that, a house fire, car wreck, whatever, and make a stupid mistake and get people injured or killed. So they try to drive that home right away that, recklessness will not be tolerated. And they make you pay the price for it. And a lot of time it's emotional. It's emotional and physical with, push-ups and everything else. I can remember not having a pin on my uniform, and I paid dearly for that one. 250 push-ups. Ugh, that was brutal. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I know it's a little long, but if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Lots more to come. And you live streamers out there that are disrupting the guests and all that, knock it off. Don't ruin it for everybody. That's all I ask. Tighten your behavior up. Quit being so obnoxious, and we're all going to be great. We're all going to be just fine. That's my message. Have a great one, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Fire Medic Adventures out. See ya.